Hello, I'm Sketchy Duval, and today I'm here with myself to answer some questions and give some context to myself as an artist, and who better to provide that context than myself. So, first of all, let's get the obvious out of the way. Why are we conjoined? What's going on here? Yes, I was waiting for this question. So, when it comes to this conjoined thing in my art, it's not so much about being a conjoined twin. It's not so much about two people fusing together into one person. It's more about one becoming two. Like one not being able to contain itself and having to split off from itself into more. Yeah, and I think as an artist, we often feel this tension between reality and inner world. Right. Or even like tension between different parts of myself. Right. Like I sometimes think of myself as an artist with a scientist mind, in the sense that I'm very creative but very analytical ultimately, and I think that's like my defining character trait. And well, I'm able to think of something new and experiment, but it's a very controlled experimentation. Okay, speaking of being careful and controlled, how does that play into your art? Yeah, my art is very controlled, of course. I'm very careful and very thought out. Sometimes it can be formulaic, and this has led me to sometimes limit myself in my art, which is a bit strange because my art is the purest expression of myself. Right. And it's where I give myself the most freedom to express myself. Interesting. But within that freedom, it's still controlled, you know? Yeah. Yeah. My art is where I allow myself to express myself exactly as I am, and I can express whatever I want. But it's also controlled. So it sometimes creates a weird tension, you know, between free expression and as I'm expressing something, already like editing it. Interesting. So yeah, it does create a tension within me. Yeah. That sometimes overwhelms and exhausts me, but on the other hand, sometimes it works pretty well. What I'm hearing is you don't allow yourself to express yourself in general, so you put your art up on this pedestal, and it creates a lot of pressure within you to create something perfect. Does that resonate with you? Next question, please. Okay, so new round of questions. Stretchy Duval, when was your greatest period of growth? Well, of course, as a child, when I was first getting into art, that was, the largest period of growth anyone has in their life is their childhood. But maybe early junior high school, I was taking private art lessons from a family friend who's an artist. I remember. A lot of things that she taught me still stick with me, like in the front of my mind as I'm drawing even now. However, when I think about my art and who I am as an artist and developing that voice, it really came when I got my iPad, my first iPad, and I dove into digital art as like my main outlet of expression. That's really when I started to develop Sketchy Duval and like focus in on like who I am as an artist. Yeah, speaking of your iPad, Techie Duval, when did you get started in digital art? I first started doing digital art in like elementary or early junior high school on Disney Channel's website, because they had a program called Disney Create, and it was a digital art platform. They had some like digital art tools, and you could draw and upload your drawings onto Disney's website. That was my first experience with doing digital drawing, and I was just using my mouse on the family computer. In university, that's when I got my iPad. At that time, I started using Procreate, and I realized all the tools that I could have at my disposal and how much it allowed me to freely express like a little more clearly, you know, because I had more access to more tools. So I kind of naturally just was drawn to using that as my main creative outlet. Okay, thank you. Next question, Edgy Duval. Why can't you just make something cute? Why is there always like a dark twist in your art? Like, Why can't you just make something nice that people want to see? Right. Well, I love horror. I've always loved horror. And it just feels natural to me to express that part of myself and that part of life. I think in everything there is a darkness that needs to be addressed. I don't know if everyone feels like that, but I feel like there is a darkness that always needs to be acknowledged and addressed, because whether you do acknowledge it or not, it is present and it is there. I don't think trying to hide it does any good. And I think that things can be cute and can be beautiful, even with this darkness within them. And I think as people in this life, we have to learn how to work with that darkness instead of against it. And honestly, maybe work in spite of it a lot of the time to really create something beautiful and unique and cute and whatever that we want. You know, you have to acknowledge it, you have to address it. Okay, next question. Wedgie Duval. What do you do when you feel stuck? Whenever I feel stuck, I know that the only way out is through it. Even if it's just a little doodle or something, I still force myself to make something. It does help keep me connected to the artistic side of me, and it does help keep me grounded. But it also helps me build trust in myself as a person and as an artist to overcome these things, so that I know I have come through it and I will go through it again if I ever face it once again, you know? So yeah. Okay, final round, speed round. I will show one of your conjoined pieces and I want you to say the first word that comes to mind. Ready? Ready. Okay. First, Shelley Duvall. The Pioneer. Twin stars. Q. Claremont twins. Real and beautiful. Next, Two-Headed Lamb. Groundbreaking on the mood board. Okay, yeah. We only need one word. Okay, that's enough. Next, These Two Girls at the End of the World. Sketchy Duval. And finally, your most recent piece. What do you think? Sketchy Duval. Okay, you can't just use yourself as an adjective. Well, yes, because I am creating something beyond the limits of our language. You know, there are really no other words to describe it other than what it is. Sketchy Duval. Okay, you sound very confident suddenly. Where is this coming from? Talking about my art gives me confidence. I feel really vulnerable talking about myself and sharing myself verbally because there's so much room for misinterpretation, and I'm usually very concerned about choosing the exact right word to express the correct nuance that I want to get across and whatever. However, making art, I don't have to worry about that because it's just me. And I am putting into it exactly what I want to put into it. And I have the time, I give myself the time and the freedom to put exactly what I want into it. I can think about it all before anyone else experiences it. And I really like that kind of separation between myself and, you know, as much as I put into it, no one else is going to read into that. They can read into it and get what they want from it, but they're never going to read into like everything that I'm putting into it, you know? And I don't need them to. I just need to get it out of myself. Honestly, I like having my art there for people to experience instead of me. Like using my art as a stand-in for myself, and then I don't have to engage, you know? It's like me and my art. Okay, well, we don't have time to unpack that today, but either way, Sketchy Duval is 2 words, not 1, so. Well, it is 1 word if you type it like my Instagram username. Right, okay. Anyway, I think it's time for us to rejoin into one person. I think we've had enough of, you know, this. So yeah, Sketchy, thank you for having me, though I'm not sure we have much connect with you on this time. Being here together. So much about you. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time, goodbye.